Hi, I'm John Bryant, and this is the Legend of Dex Fisher. You play an amateur fisherman who's keen to become the next legend in the angling world, and throughout the solo player game, you'll be facing off against 5 different dastardly fishing rivals with all different kinds of equipment trying to put you down and stop you from catching those big fish. The way the game is for so I said solo play. So the game is for 1 to 2 players, and fishing is conducted across the lake. So here we have the water with the grass around the edge and deep water in the middle. And what players do to play the game is they take their lures. There's 5 different lures, all with different effects, and they cast them into the lake. And they turn over a card which shows the closest fish to them. So this one would be a carp. Now some of the lures, like this one's a bit close, but had it been touching the deep water, just on top, then I would have been able to fish from the bottom, because they all have different effects. But so with this one, I've cast my lure into the lake. This is the fish that's closest, it's interested. So it's a carp. At the top it shows you which lures it's going to bite. So I've got the worm, which is represented by the D4, so it's going to bite this, which is great. If I can hook it, it's going to reel in 3 turns, which means it starts here on the reel tracker on the 3rd space, and I have to reel it all the way in. There's a sort of an organic element to the cards, because if this fish escaped me, whether I couldn't hook it or it got away while I was trying to reel it in, it would escape to a specific part of the deck. The carp itself swims to the middle of the deck. The bigger fish swim to the bottom, and the smaller ones to the top. So it kind of replicates real life in a way. And once that keeps happening, then you as a keen fisherman should be able to remember where they are and start using your lures to go to the top, the bottom, find these fish and try and get extra points to beat your opponent, your rival. So once we've got the fish, then we take our rod reel dice, and this is what we use to kind of do all of our testing. So here's the first test. Can I hook this fish? It's got a strength of 4. So I have to roll the dice and get a 4 or higher. Let's say, for example, it's a 4. So as long as I get that, a 4, then this fish gets transferred to the reel tracker, and I can instantly try and reel it in. So on the bottom it has values of 2, 5, or 8. So this is the push your luck element. So if I roll a 2 or higher, I can move it 1 space. Immediately I can then try and roll a 5 or higher, and then an 8 or higher to get it in one go. Depending on how far ahead your opponent is in points, you could risk more and try and catch up, or you can risk less if you're the one ahead. So you roll the dice, I've beaten the 2, and you can either take it slow, so I'll just try it again. Yes, I beat a 2, and I'll wait 1 more turn, and then, okay, a 4. So once you catch the fish, then you have points value on the bottom. So the carps are worth 8 points. And on top of that, you put the strength of the fish, which is 4. So this is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 12 points. And you will record that on a piece of paper, a phone. I did in the final box, there's going to be a little tiny score sheet, a little fishing score sheet, so you can keep tabs on what your biggest catch of each class of fish is. If you can defeat 5 of the rivals and with their different equipments over the lake, and you can outcatch them, then you become the legend of the lake. And the last thing you can do after that, before you complete the game, is you go on to the river stage. So you take the carp fish come out of the deck, they get replaced with salmon. There's 6 carp in there, so there'll be plenty. And then the lake gets rearranged into a river setup. So you can then have a bit of fun when you're setting these up, make your own little sort of shapes. And you set it up into a river like that. And the slight difference in this mechanic is that when you cast your lure into the river, it goes on the first square. If we say that the water is flowing this way, then if I overturn the top card and it's a salmon, and I think there's probably bigger fish out there, then I can choose not to hook this and instead let it swim back to the deck, and then allow the lure to go 1 down with the current. And then next time I can try again, look at a different fish, yes or no, and keep going until you get to the last card when you've got to take it. And if you can do it on the river stage, when the opponents have double the equipment and they're twice as hard and you have less lures to rely on, and you can beat all 5 of them again, then you become the full legend and you are the greatest fisherman in the land.